The 118th Congress began earlier this month, as we all know, with the Republicans taking back control of the House of Representatives. And whenever you have a transition like that, there's a new slate of representatives. In this case, no question. We have a new slate of some conservative Congress members that I'm extremely pleased to introduce to Washington Watch viewers and listeners. One of those members is U.S. Representative Andy Ogles. He's been the mayor in Murray County, Tennessee. He was previously an executive with Abolition International, which is a nonprofit organization that fights human trafficking. He's been an incredible leader on so many fronts, and now he represents the 5th Congressional District of Tennessee. Congressman Ogles, thank you so much for joining us this evening on Washington Watch.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Well, listen, I love the opportunity to be able to introduce individuals like you to our viewers, our listeners here on Washington Watch. Let's begin, Andy, if we can, just if you would just kind of introduce yourself to our viewers and our listeners. How did God lead you to run for Congress?
Yeah, I was mayor in Murray County. In the state of Tennessee, a county mayor, county executive is like a mini governor. And what happened, and I ran to fix the budget. I'm an economist. I worked in economics, in healthcare. And so the budget of the county was in disrepair. And so I ran to fix it. I did. But during COVID, a lot of the authority rested with the county executives on how to manage it. I refused to comply with any of the mandates. I pushed back against the Biden administration. I pushed back against OSHA, and I kept my county open. I left it up to the individual to manage their health care, not the government. And what happened is we became the fastest growing county in the state of Tennessee. And when redistricting occurred, it created an open seat in the state of Tennessee. And as a leader, I was asked if I'd be willing to run, and I did, and the rest is history.
It's amazing. It's an amazing story, Andy, and we welcome you to Congress and welcome your leadership that you bring. And you not only pushed back as the mayor in Tennessee, but when you came to Congress immediately, first week, listen, I remember clearly my first week in Congress. And what a battle that was. But I don't know that it even begins to compare with what you just experienced last week. And I wish we had time to go into more of the details, but you were one of the 20 that really have become heroes to change the direction of the House of Representatives. But if I can move a little bit further, because just this week, your first week, Republicans, y'all have gotten a lot done. Even advancing some pro-life measures. And of course, not everyone on the other side was excited about that. We have a clip here from Representative Rashid Tlaib as she spoke out against the Republican agenda. And here's what she said.
We will have many fights ahead of us, Mr. Speaker, and I will continue to hold the line to push back against policy violence that those that want to continue to inflict on the American people with the extreme right agenda.
Wow, political violence. All right, what's your response to those who say the GOP agenda is some sort of extreme, dangerous agenda?
During the fight for Speaker, I stood up like the other 19 and fought for a rules package, right? When you look at the life of a child, that is far more important. That is far more precious. And if you thought you saw us fighting for rules, wait till you see us fighting for the protection of our children, which are unfortunately under assault now in the United States of America.
Well, hats off to you again for jumping in literally both feet in the water on your first week in Congress. And you have already proven yourself to be a fighter for conservative causes. And we all just sincerely say thank you for that. Another big issue to you that I want our listeners and viewers to be aware of is this whole battle of human trafficking. Extremely important to you as it is to many of us. Tell us a little bit about your role in that particular battle.
Yeah, when you look at the southern border, it gets over politicized. But what a lot of people don't understand is that 60% of the women and 60% of the children that come across our southern border are sexually assaulted. And when I say children, I mean 3- and 4-year-old children. And many times they're sexually assaulted by multiple individuals. and in some cases left for dead. And, we've got to shut down the border, whether it's a homeland security issue for you, whether it's the burden that it's putting on local economies, the economic issue, the fentanyl crisis. But even if none of that bothers you, even if you're not concerned about any of that, the fact that little girls and little boys right now are being raped on our southern border should break your heart, should make you stand up, pray to God for relief and protection for those children. And part of that solution is closing the border.
Absolutely. Well, how did you get involved with this? I think a lot of people look at issues like the human trafficking and the southern border mainly affecting border towns. There you are in Tennessee. How did this become an issue right there in Murray County?
Well, so, kind of my midlife crisis. I was an entrepreneur early in my career and was successful young. And then, of course, later I went to work for David Koch's political operation and worked in as economist. I worked for Dr. Laffer. But in the middle there, I went into local law enforcement. I was reserve deputy. And then I went into international sex crimes, which is obviously human trafficking. And when you look at Nashville and how did I in particular get touched by the issue is the fact that Nashville is really a crossroads of so many states. We're within 6 hours of most of the United States of America. And so it's a crossroads for people being trafficked, whether it's from Florida or the West Coast or through the southern border. And so it was really a hotbed. Atlanta's another hot area. And so I began working, volunteering my time, and then I ended up becoming chief operating officer. And it was just one of those, I didn't really intend to set out to be so heavily involved in the fight against human trafficking. It just kind of occurred. And I think Lord pricked my heart on this issue. And it's one of those issues as we move forward in my career, I'll continue to be involved and raise money to help protect children as they're being trafficked, not only here in the United States, but around the globe.
Well, Andy, as we go forward, I know many of our folks would like to pray for you. How can people pray for you in particular?
Well, I mean, I'm humbled at the request. This takes a lot of toll on not only an individual who's decided to run for office, but also the family. And, I'm a husband. I'm the father of 3 children. And so just to pray for protection and a shield around my family is probably the thing that's most near and dear to my heart.
Andy Ogles, thank you so much for joining us on Washington Watch. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Joe.